Hello, everybody. It's me again. It's Russell Mills, October 11th, 2018. I want to say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's had a good day, good week. I want to play audio of Donald Trump. I guess today, Donald Trump and Kanye West and Jim Brown actually met for a lunch. Really, the reason why they stripped him is because he started doing positive for the community. He started showing that he actually had power, that he wasn't just one of a monolithic voice, that he could drag people around. So there's theories that there's infinite amounts of universe and there's alternate universe. So it's very important for me to get Hoover out because in an alternate universe, I am him. And I have to go and get him free because he was doing positive inside of Chicago, just like how I'm moving back to Chicago. And it's not just about, getting on stage and being an entertainer and having a monolithic voice that's forced to be a specific party. People expect that if you're black, you have to be Democrat. I have conversations that basically said that welfare is the reason why a lot of black people end up being Democrats. They say, first of all, it's a limit to amount of jobs. So the fathers lose the jobs and they say, we'll give you more money for having more kids in your home. And then we got rid of the mental health institutes in the 80s and the 90s, and the prison rates just shot up. And now you have Chirac, what people call Chirac, which is actually our murder rate is going down by 20%. Every year I just talked to the superintendent, met with Michael Sachs, that's Rom's right-hand man. So I think it's the bravery that helps you beat this game called life. They tried to scare me to not wear this hat, my own friends, but this hat, it gives me power in a way. My dad and my mom separated, so I didn't have a lot of male energy in my home. And also, I'm married to a family that, not a lot of male energy going on. It's beautiful, though. But there's times where, it's something about, I love Hillary. I love everyone, right? But the campaign, I'm with her, just didn't make me feel as a guy that didn't get to see my dad all the time, like a guy that could play catch with his son. There was something about when I put this hat on, it made me feel like Superman. You made a Superman. That's my favorite superhero. And you made a Superman cape. For me, also as a guy that looks up to you, looks up to Rap Lauren, looks up to American industry guys, non-political, no put the beep on it, however you want to do it, 5 seconds delay, and just goes in and gets it done. Right now, you gave me the heart to go to Adidas, because at Adidas, when I went in 2015, we were a $14 billion company, losing $2 billion a year. Now we have a $38 billion market cap. It's called the Yeezy effect. And I went to Casper. We had a meeting in Chicago. And I said, you have to bring manufacturing onshore, not even shore, into the core. It's not about the borders, the core of Adidas. And Chicago is the core of Middle America. We have to make Middle America strong. So I had to, because I had enough put on this hat. I mean, this Adidas thing made me a billionaire. And I could have lost $200 million walking away from that deal. But even with that, I knew it was more important for me to take the chance of walking away from that deal than to have no fathers in Chicago with no homes. And when we do have prison reparation, because it's habilitation, not rehabilitation, because we didn't have the abilities in the first place. We never had anyone who taught us, who didn't teach us. Exactly, we had no one to taught us, right? So it's more important than any specific deal, anything that we bring jobs into America, and that we provide a transition with mental health and the American education curriculum that Jim has worked on. Larry Hoover also has a curriculum that he's worked on. We have Montessori curriculums that we worked on. WeWorks has a beautiful curriculum. The Waldorf establishment has a curriculum. We have meditation. There's a lot of things affecting our mental health that makes us do crazy things, that puts us back into that trap door called the 13th Amendment. I did say abolish with the hat on, because why would you keep something around that's a trap door? If you're building a floor, the Constitution is the base of our industry, right? Of our country, of our company. would you build a trap door that if you mess up and you accidentally something happens, you fall and you end up next to the Unabomber? You got to remove all that trap door out of the relationship. The four gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment, and I think the way the universe works, it's perfect. We don't have 13 floors, do we? So the four gentlemen that wrote the 13th Amendment didn't look like the people they were amending. Also, at that point, it was illegal for blacks to read or African Americans to read. And so that meant if you actually read the amendment, you get locked up and turned to a slave. Again, so what I think is we don't need sentences, we need pardons. We need to talk to people. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was connected with a neuropsychologist that works with the athletes in the NBA and the NFL. And he looked at my brain and he put on 3 parts. I'm going to go ahead and drop some bombs for you. 98 percentile IQ test. I had a 75 percentile of all human beings, but it was counting 8 numbers backwards off there as a beat. So I'm going to work on that one. The other one's 98%. Tesla, Freud. So he said that I actually wasn't bipolar. I had sleep deprivation, which could cause dementia 10 to 20 years from now, where I wouldn't even remember my son's name. So all this power that I got, and I'm taking my son to the Sox game and all that, I wouldn't be able to remember his name from a misdiagnosis. And what we need is we can empower the pharmaceuticals and make more money. That's one thing. I've never stepped into a situation where I didn't make people more money. So we can empower pharmaceuticals. We can empower our industry. We can empower our factories. We can bring not only Adidas on shore, we can bring Foxconn to set up a factory in, I think, Minnesota. 53,000.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. They have 4,000 jobs, people making $53,000 a year. And one of the things we got to set is Ford to have the highest design, the dopest cars, the most amazing. I don't really say dope. I don't say negative words and try to flip them. We just say positive, lovely, divine, universal words. So the flyest, freshest, most amazing car. And what we want to start with is, I brought a gift with me right here. This right here is the iPlane 1. It's a hydrogen-powered airplane, and this is what our president should be flying in. Look at this shirt.
So get rid of Air Force One. Can we get rid of Air Force One? No, you don't like that.
Well, we're gonna have Apple, American company, work on this plane with. But you know what I don't like about? It's not that I don't like what I need Saturday Night Live to improve on, or what I need the liberals to improve on is if he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be empowered. We have to bring jobs into America because our best export is entertainment and ideas. But when we make everything in China and not in America, then we're cheating on our country. And we're putting people in positions to have to do illegal things to end up in the cheapest factory ever, the prison system.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty impressive. I hate to say this, Jim. Do you want to say something? What do you do after that?
You don't mind.
You are fit. Please, Jim, please. Right. Great, right? Isn't that a great statement? And it's so true. As a country, it's so true. Very impressive. I've never seen Jim Brown impressed before. He was impressed. That's true. That statement is amazing, huh? I want to tell you, it's great to have you guys with us. And we're going to go in. We're going to have some lunch. That was quite something. That was
from the soul.
Yeah, no, it's really, really very interesting. Yes, yeah, please.
So you had said of President Bush that he doesn't care about black people. And you've heard some people say that about this president. How do you respond to that? What do you think of that? I think we need to care about all people. And I believe that when I went on to NBC, I was very emotional and I was programmed to think from a victimized mentality, a welfare mentality. I think that with blacks and African Americans, we really get caught up in the idea of racism over the idea of industry. We say if people don't have land, they settle for brands. We want Polo Sport and Obama again. We want a brand more than we want land because we haven't known how it feels to actually have our own land and have ownership of our own blocks. So when you don't have ownership, then it's all about how something looks. It's about the patina. It's not about the soil. It's not about the core. So we focus more on, is somebody wearing something? Is someone disrespecting? So I gotta shoot them. Or the idea of someone being racist. You know, we talk about police murders, which we definitely have to discuss, and we have to bring nobility to the police officers and make them, because police officers are just like us. But this is this whole hate building, right? And that's a major thing about racial tension. Like, we also, as Black people, we have to take a responsibility for what we're doing. We kill each other more than police officers. And that's not saying that the police officer is not an issue, because they are in a position of power. But sometimes they're in placement of law enforcement. They need to be law of power. It's force versus power. You shouldn't have to force people to do that. So a lot of times a police officer is sitting there, they're being forced to do this and forced to do that block, and then they force somebody into something and force something. We have to release the love throughout the entire country and give opportunities. A lot of times it's just the overall lack of reparations that we, at any given point, we say, oh, this is racist, this is racist, this is racist, this is racist. So we don't have the reparations, but we have the 13th Amendment. We got to open up the whole conversation. So, and that's a move. One of the moves that I love that liberals try to do, the liberal would try to control a Black person through the concept of racism, because they know that we are very proud, emotional people. So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? Oh, that don't stop me. That's an invisible wall.
Mr. West, what would you like?
Oh, your question. You have one question. We're going to go to another question. I answered your question. I don't answer questions in simple sound bites. You are tasting a fine wine that has multiple notes to it. You better play 4D chess with me like it's Minority Report, because it ain't that simple. It's complex.
Mr. West, what would you like? I'm going to Chicago sometime, so I would like to know what you would like to ask President Trump to do for Chicago. You're here to talk about crime in Chicago.
The thing that the head of the police and Mike Sachs met with me last night at the Soho House about was, we feel that stop and frisk does not help the relationships in the city. And everyone that knew I was coming here asked about stop and frisk. That's the number one thing that we're having this conversation about. Another thing is opening up industries, and we've got to get some tax breaks because we're making we got a speed factory in Atlanta, but the shoes are costing us $300, so it's costing us too much to make things. So we need some prototypes here so we can get people back working. So China can't just beat us, and Vietnam can't beat us. You got Levi's, the greatest jeans company in the world, making their jeans in Vietnam. So we're going to need to get a few breaks to be able to have some places in my hometown of Chicago and the 2.7 million to the 9 million surrounding suburbs where we can create some factories. Now, I think it would be cool for them to be Trump factories because he's a master of industry. He's a builder. And I think it would be cool to have Yeezy ideation centers, which would be a mix of education that empowers people and gives them modern information. Like, sometimes people say, this kid has ADD, this kid has ADD. You don't have ADD, school is boring. It was boring. It's not as exciting as this. We have to make it more exciting. We have to mix curriculums. You play basketball while you're doing math. You learn about music while you meditate in the morning. We have to instate mental health and art programs back into the city. So those are, and also Larry Hoover is an example of a man that was turning his life around. As soon as he tried to turn his life around, they hit him with 6 life sentences. So I believe you say don't tear down the statues. Larry Hoover is a living statue. He's a beacon for us that needs to see his family, that needs to go out and represent. When you have a block leader on every single block, they can own the block as their own. That's something I learned from Jim Brown from America Can. We need to put curriculums for people who really came from the streets, not people who are just trying to set us up to go into a work system or prison system that applies to what people are really going through, which Jim Brown has created.
What about gun violence with all the debate about the Second Amendment going on?
The problem is illegal guns. Illegal guns is the problem, not legal guns. We have the right to bear arms.
President Trump has said that he favors stop and frisk. Are you guys going to be discussing that? Do you think he can change his mind?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss. I didn't mean to put you on blast like that, bro. But this is definitely.
I'm open-minded. I'm here.
Yeah.
I am open-minded.
Like him to speak at one of your rallies.
He can speak for me anytime he wants. He's a great guy. He's a smart cookie. Smart. He gets it. These two guys, Jim Brown, he's been doing this for a long time.
So future presidential candidate?
Could very well be.
Only after that.
Could very well be. That's good. I'm glad you
we have a good, and the thing is, let's stop worrying about the future. All we really have is today. We just have today, over and over and over again, the eternal return, the hero's journey. And Trump is on his hero's journey right now. And he might not have expected to have a crazy like Kanye West run up and support. But best believe, we are going to make America great. Now, the thing is, another thing is black people have an issue with the word again. And I believe my feeling from that is because I'm going all the way Sigmund with it, because time is a myth. All we have is now, all we have is today. So the word again, it doesn't hurt us because of the idea of racism and slavery, it's a different thing. It hurts us because we need to focus on who we are now, today. I believe. So I actually brought some hats in that have a bit of a transition. I'm not trying to put you up there, smile a little bit. I made a hat that says "Make America Great." Just that. But I would love to see at the Super Bowl Trump wearing the "Make America Great" hat, Colin wearing the "Make America Great," and showing that we can bend a bit on this side, we can bend it on this side. And we can learn how to be malleable in the infinite universe that we are and the loving beings that we are. And we don't have to stick to all traditions. And we aren't a side. We are one unit. We are one country. We are one moment in history and time. Might have been here before. But right now, we're here together. And the greatest value that people have are other people.
Hello, everybody. So that was Kanye West. This is Kanye West met with President Trump at the White House and discussed areas of topics, including criminal justice reform, job opportunities, and ex-cons in the Yeezy brand. So, what do you guys think about what Kanye said about him and Jim Brown meeting with Donald Trump today? Like I said, some stuff does make sense. I'm not gonna sit here on video and say, yeah, that I know everything, and you know what I'm saying, and because I don't. But we do need to make this country better, and we need to get our heads out of our asses, and we have to learn how to build this country back to where it should be. And it's a lot of bullshit. Like I said, me personally, with the Democrats and Republicans, I think it's all bullshit at the end of the day. I don't care for either or. This country's a corporation. America's a corporation. They want money. They make money off of you. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. Just like the paychecks that we get every day. It's a loan. And people are like, oh, what are you talking about? It's not a loan. I get paid. Yeah, but here's the thing. It goes right back into the system. Just like the banks. Just like imagine if everybody took their money out of the bank. You would never get all your money back. This country would never get their money back because they don't have enough to shell out. Because we got trillions of debt in this country. You know what I'm saying? And us as the people that are working are paying back those debts. Okay, you think the government is paying back those debts? No, we're paying back those debts. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the prison systems and stuff like that, I feel like, the way they treat people in prison ain't right. And I understand you paid. I understand you do the crime, you do the time, and I get all that. But sometimes they don't treat people right. You know what I'm saying? People getting raped in prison and beat up and killed, and you know what I'm saying? And people, you know, as far as like getting sentenced to these long sentences if you're not even guilty and all this other stuff. We just, you know, we got a long way to go in this country, and I don't even think personally we're gonna make it. Because God, the Most High, is gonna come back and he's gonna show us, you know, what we're doing wrong, and he's gonna take this world, destroy it. That's how I feel, because who knows how long we're going to be on this planet as the so-called American people, so-called people in this country. Who knows? But I don't know, man. People can disagree with Kanye going up to meet with Donald Trump, you know, stuff like that in the White House. You know, since he is our president for now. You know, like I said, I don't. Like I said, man. Kanye, I think he's a smart guy. Um, you know, and I'm not saying what he's saying has, you know, is wrong or right. Um, you know, some people are gonna bash him. They're gonna say, oh, you know, he's you know, um, he shouldn't have met with them again. He shouldn't, you know what I mean? He shouldn't be speaking for this man and all this other stuff. Obviously, Trump can speak for himself. My only issue I have, and I'm gonna say this again on video, is I feel like us as the so-called African, so-called black people, we don't need to speak for white people. White people speak for themselves as we should speak for ourselves. Am I hating? No, all I'm saying in general is so-called black man or woman has to speak for themselves. We should not have to speak for someone else. I understand Kanye likes Trump. That's his friend, I guess. But, you know, they're in entertainment, business, whatever. He's a president. Kanye's an artist, businessman. But what I'm saying at the end of the day is we don't need to be speaking for other people. We need to speak for ourselves. We need to come together as the so-called black man or woman and speak for ourselves and think for ourselves. Okay? No, nobody should be hating anybody, but at the end of the day, other races stick together except for us, and we don't care to, and that to me is very sad. Okay, that we don't do that, because I see the so-called Caucasian always sticking with the Caucasians, the so-called Asians, they sticking with the Asians, the so-called Greeks, the so-called Italians, you know, the so-called Russians, they're always sticking with each other, which I get. You're gonna stick to people that you know that speak the same language. I get all that. So you know what I mean. But us as the so-called blacks, the so-called, because blacks not a race, the so-called Africans, we are too busy sticking up for everybody else. And it's sad that we will not stick up for our own, but we'll stick up for somebody like this. You know. And again, once again, the so-called black men, we don't have culture. We don't have culture. We don't have an understanding of who we are as people. So that's why we fight so much, because we have a lack of knowledge of who we are. You can, you know, say who you are, say what you quote unquote believe in, but you still don't know shit. Okay? A lot of people, 50s, 60s, 70s, that could be so-called black, as we call it. So when I say so-called, because black is not, black is a color, not a race. So when I say so-called black, the perception, even some people back that grew up in the the day of where they were spray painting N-words and calling us monkeys and dogs were biting us. And, you know, I feel like some of them feel like, because they're in this era right now, that everything's cool. Because that's not happening right now. But it's still, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, it always happened. But the thing is now everybody has a camera phone, okay? So they can record it. So a lot of people some people are going to be cautious now, because they're like, this guy, you know, this person can record me now, you know what I'm saying? Put it on YouTube, you know, it can go viral and all this other stuff. But that's it, man. But I don't know. I just, you know, People gonna hate, people gonna slam him, people gonna say whatever, but I just feel like we just need ourselves. Okay, so-called black men, so-called black women, we need ourselves, but you guys don't listen to me. You guys don't listen to other so-called uh, African people that are on these YouTube channels. We're trying to tell you something that we need unity, but you guys are too damn ratchet and too damn hood and too damn brain fucked and mind fucked to understand who you are. Okay, so that's why we don't have nothing. That's why we run to everybody else. That's why we envy everybody else. That's why we're so, oh man, I want to be like him. I want to date him. You know, I don't want to date my so-called sisters anymore. You know what I'm saying? Women, I'm going to say this, black women, so you don't need to act like a fool. Black men, you don't need to act like a fool. Okay? We need to know how to carry ourselves properly for ourselves. Okay? But like I said, I can go on and on about this. But listen, man, I want to tell everybody thank you for subscribing to any of my videos. If you want to look me up, my video, then you'd have to type in Russell Mills, May 22nd, 2017, which is my first video called Why Black People Settle for Less. That's RUSSELLMILLS. May 22nd, 2017. You could check me up. I believe I'm on Instagram. You could check me up. Facebook, Russell Mills. I'm not really much on there, but, check me out. I got a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, so I want more subscribers, but you know what I mean? But I just want to spread a message, and that's what I like to do. So everybody take care. Have a good night. Peace.